Hello there. Welcome back to grade 11 economics. In this video, I want to look at a common test of April 2021. So we are going to look at question 3 on that question paper. That is, our question has got 40 marks. Our first question reads, name any two examples of renewable resource. But renewable resource basically is a natural resource which we replenish to replace the portion depleted, and the depletion can be by usage or consumption. So this replacement I would check through, it can be through reproduction or other recurring processes that can also take place. So this is the explanation that we have in terms of renewable resource. So you are going to see that our question is asking for two examples. So we can have plants as an example of a renewable resource. We can talk about animals also as part of renewable resources. So we have those answers, answer section whereby you are saying we have got plants and animals. So going to our next question of communication infrastructure here on the economy. So we are going to see that the impact that the lack of communication infrastructure yes on the economy would see that it makes doing business in the country difficult. It can also make it expensive, which may lead to low economic growth. So basically, we are saying at the end of the day, it's going to cause a negative impact in terms of the total monetary value or market value of the goods and services that are going to be produced in the country. You're going to see a decrease in the total market value of goods and services that are going to be produced in the country. So we have that again explained in another section, whereby saying which may lead to low economic growth. So this is our response on 3.1.2. So going to our next question that follow. So we are given recorded the highest growth rate in quarter 3 2020. So this is the information that we are given, that you might also need to go through it before you attempt the question below that. So 3.2.1, which period of the year is covered in the picture above? But if you go there at the headline, it reads in the primary sector, mainly recorded the highest growth rate in quarter 3 2020. So we have here stated quarter 3 2020. So we are going to say quarter 3 of 2020. So this is the response that we have. And go to the next question, which reads, identify the South African mineral, which is the largest contributor in exports from the above source. So from the source above, we are even that mentioned in the section seems to be a little bit faint, but we have it mentioned in this section, whereby we have gold being mentioned there as the mineral which is the largest contributor in the export from the source that we are given. So we are saying gold as it is mentioned basically here. So this is what we have in terms of that question. We go to the next question, saying briefly describe the term primary sector. But we're going to see that primary sector is the sector that deals with the production or extraction of raw materials from natural resources. So the extraction of raw materials from natural resources describes the primary sector. So we have that also mentioned in our answer section whereby saying primary sector of raw materials from natural resources. So basically, that's what we have. Moving on to the next question, it says, why is there a need for Eskom question in particular, whereby we are here, we are seeing reason for the increase in production during the quarter 3 of year 2020. So where it is mentioned about the increase in production, we can just refer back to our question whereby it's saying in the primary sector, mining recorded the highest growth rate. So that's where we have that information mentioned. So our question is asking us what is the possible reason that might have caused that increase in the quarter 3 of year 2020. So you see that this is mainly, it might be due to opening of economic activities after the, remember, there was a pandemic which hit the world of COVID-19. So obviously, during the period of COVID-19 is the year that we have in question, which is year 2020. So we are saying the possibilities that are due to lockdown, the relaxation of the lockdown regulations, when the lockdown regulations were eased, and that's when there was now a space for increase in production. So that can be a reason that we can try to explain, basing on the year that we are looking at, which is year 2020, and we know that year 2020, that's when there were lockdown regulations, but later on they were relaxed. So when they were relaxed, that's when there was now a space for increasing production. So that is what we have also explained in our answer section, whereby we are saying the increase was due to the opening of economic activities after COVID-19 lockdown regulations were eased. So basically, that to be 3.2.5, which reads, why is the primary sector more dependent on the other two sectors? And we know that the private sector, obviously, it supplies the secondary sector. So obviously, we are having the secondary sector also depending on the primary sector. So that's what we have. But during the process of supplying the secondary sector, obviously there is a need for those resources that are coming from primary sector to be transported to the secondary sector. So the transportation again is done by the tertiary sector. So basically we have such a scenario. So that's the reason why the primary sector is more dependent on the other two sectors. So we have that again explained in another section whereby we are saying some of the raw materials and minerals from the primary sector need to be processed in the secondary sector before they are ready for consumption. So this is our first point that we have. Second point says from the tertiary sector. And lastly, the primary sector cannot function without we have those connections which are making the primary sector dependent on the other two sectors that we have there. Then we go to the next question, which is now going to be our 3.3, which is started is on Eskom CO mode. So we have the ex-Secretary Minister Pravin Gordhan set out a series of steps to restore stability, lowering fuel costs, increasing renewable and non-core assets. Gordhan also called for the utility to be split into three units: power transmission, generation, and distribution. With the first of those divisions to be spun off by letters to supply the energy. Name in one source of energy. So we are going to see that with various sources of energy that we can put there. We can talk about coal as a source of energy. Even we can talk about water as a source of energy. So those are some of the sources of energy that we can mention. So we have the source of energy. So 3.3.1, we are having this source of energy whereby we have coal, nuclear, pick one that you can include as your answer there. Then moving on to the next question. It reads, in which sector of the economy does Eskom belong? So in Eskom, we know that it produces electricity. So there is production that is taking place when Eskom is producing electricity, and we know that production takes place in the secondary sector. So we have the secondary sector being the correct answer where Eskom belongs. So we are saying it belongs in the secondary sector. So go to the next part of our question. What is the possible reason for the increase in production during quarter 3? Already looked at, so we can just refer to our next question, which is saying, briefly describe the term infrastructure. So infrastructure basically is described as the facilities and systems that make the economic activities in the country possible. So basically, we are saying infrastructure is based on the facilities and systems that we have in the economy. So obviously, when you have an improvement in those facilities, obviously, it's going to lead to the infrastructure that we are talking about. So we go to the other section, try to see the description that we have of infrastructure. We say infrastructure basically is the facilities and the systems that make the economic activities in the country possible. So this is the definition of infrastructure that we have. So much for Eskom to have competition. So we know that competition brings many positives in the economy. You're going to see that when there's competition, it means we have got more businesses that are operating. So in that sense, we are going to see the reduction in prices as the business fight to win customers. Reduction of prices is another positive that we can deduce. And even we can talk about the quality of products that are going to be produced will be also uplifted. So we've got better quality of products being produced. And we are going to see again that the general production in level of production will increase, and the economy is going to be obviously positive, as it is going to increase the gross domestic products, which is also going to lead to economic growth. So those are some of the positives that we can try to deduce by having competition. So if we go to other section, we have those reasons are being articulated, whereby we are saying the correct answer that we have there is we have first point is saying we can just maybe try to refer to our question, which is 3.3.4. So 3.3.4. So competition is to have enough supply and affordable energy to support economic growth. So basically, it obviously leads to more supply, support economic growth. So this is the first point. Second point is saying to reduce inefficiency that leads to it. So obviously, inefficiency will be resulted if we have got only one business that is operating, that is maybe producing that product, whereby we are saying but if we have more businesses that are producing the same product, we are going to see that the businesses will fight to produce at the lowest possible cost, that is efficiency. So when there's efficiency, obviously there's a reduction of inefficiency. So the essence of producing at the lowest possible cost is they will be trying to widen the gap between the revenue and the cost so that they maximize profits. But in the process, they are enhancing efficiency and there is reduction of inefficiency. So in this case, it will help it solve problems such as load shedding. So that's what we got 3.3.4. How does so we are going to see that we have negatives that impacts production, which leads to decline in economic growth. So obviously, production cannot take place when there is no energy. So in that case, we're going to see a decline in economic production, which may lead to inflation also. So this is what we have. We are going to say that if there is no energy, obviously, businesses will opt for alternative sources of energy, which might be expensive for them. And obviously, in that case, we are going to see that the burden is going of high cost of production will be passed to the customer by increase the prices, which is going to lead to inflation. Then we have 3.4. Moving on to 3.4, we can just try to go down, whereby 3.4 reads, discuss the composition of transport infrastructure in South Africa. So we are going to say that composition of transport infrastructure in South Africa comprises of the rail network. It comprises also of airports, of roads. So those are some of the points that we are going to further explain in our other section. And also we can include also the issue of ports or harbors as part of the composition of the transport infrastructure. So going to answer section, you'll see that we have the roads being the first one, which is saying the road network in South Africa is about 754,600 kilometers. Of that are paved or surfaced roads. So we have got some statistics that we have there that we have 754,600 kilometers of road. This is a composite, which is in the country. Is the largest railroad in Southern Africa, freight rail. So become the second 9 airports that are run and managed by the Airports Company of South Africa, which is AXA, in brackets. Then the country which are managed by Transnet National Ports Authority. So this is what we have. And this point is by sea through our ports. So it's also explaining the issue of the transport infrastructure. Then go to the last one, is saying both national and provincial governments are responsible for the policy and construction of roads. We have got SANRAL is responsible for improving and maintaining the national roads. So SANRAL basically we know that we can expand it to South African National Roads Agents representing our SANRAL. So this is what we have on 3.4. So basically, this is what we have within the context of this video. So thank you for listening, and let's meet in the next video. And please, let's not forget to subscribe and share to our channel. Let's not forget to share the link to our colleagues who are doing grade 11 economics. Let's meet again in the next video. As for this video, I'm signing out.